What if by feeding your family nutritious food grown without chemicals or pesticides or herbicides or growth hormones, they would spend less time in the doctor's office? What if buying from a farmer who lives near you and farms more like your grandparents, you could create a healthier life and future for your children? What if by not buying the products of factory farms, American farming could become more like it was in a simpler, more holistic time? On today's show, you'll hear the stories of farmers, a nutritionist, a magazine publisher, and people on the streets who are thinking about the way food is grown and cooked in today's economy and the impact it has on their health. I'm Pat Jobe. This is The Connection Independent Television. Thank you for making the connection. We're on Wadmalaw Island with the greengrocer, Celeste Albers. She's going to be talking to us about organically grown, organic practices around non-chemical practices around raising chickens and the value of that and the value of those kind of eggs.
We believe in letting our chickens be chickens. Our hens get to do what hens naturally want to do. We keep them in a house that allows them access to pasture. We move our houses every morning, and then the hens come out and get a fresh crop of bugs. They've got fresh, clean ground they can scratch in, and they eat the plant material as well, and lots of seeds that they can find. So they have a more varied diet. They get fresh air. They're happy hens. I have some customers who come to the market looking for those happy eggs, and that's really what they are. When you have an animal or a bird that's on good soil, eating a good diet, living a good, clean life, they're going to give you a better product for you to eat. What we're striving for all the time is a healthy, balanced, living soil. And that's just not the case in a conventional monoculture type farm. It's all about input and output. We're constantly adding things like seeds to the soil. We're planting different cover crops. We're rotating our crops through. We're tilling in plant material and the hen's manure and the cows as well, and building soil. Eggs have had various problems with their reputation. For a long time there, you kept hearing, don't eat too many eggs, they have fat and cholesterol and this and that, and people were afraid. And I think a lot of that has been because of the conventional way of raising eggs, where you have hens confined in a very small cage, and all they have is their feed and water and no light and fresh air, and you get a different product that way. Now we're starting to learn that some fats are good and that there's different kinds of cholesterol, and you have to have everything in balance, and if you don't have any fat, you can't get your vitamins and minerals. The hen is putting the vitamins and minerals in the fat that's in the egg, and if you're not eating that fat, you're not getting your full dose of vitamins and minerals like you're supposed to. It's so much more satisfying to your body to eat a good, wholesome egg.
We're here on Jeremiah Farm at Johns Island. We're with Casey Price. She is a dairy goat farmer here on Johns Island. A lot of people who are sensitive to cow's milk drink goat's milk.
Yeah, it's mainly because the milk fat, the lactose, is smaller. You know, the particles of fat are smaller. Goat's milk is naturally homogenized, so the fat doesn't separate like it does in cow's milk.
Wow. So what percentage of your income comes from the farm?
Probably 5 to 10%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you're really doing it for love?
Right now, but my goal is to be, self-sustaining. The big thing with free-range eggs is you have to find where they're laying them.
Right. So it's Easter egg hunt every day.
Pretty
right?
much, but yeah. They like to lay in the hay. They actually lay in this tractor. We've got some hay in the bottom, and if there's a piece of wood up against something, they'll lay there. Sometimes they'll lay in the stalls over there. And we're getting anywhere from a dozen to 3 dozen a day. So it's not huge, but
right.
I have my regular people that, they just want them because they're fresh and they're local and they're bright yellow instead of pale.
Right.
They tell me they taste better. I don't know. I haven't had a store egg in probably 10 years. So
Do you think that they prevent diseases?
I think eating good prevents diseases.
Okay.
You know, I think.
So it's like the whole diet.
Yeah.
You've had an experience with your kids' health changing in light of this farm living and.
Yeah. We've been on Johns Island 15 years, and 5 years ago we moved to Jeremiah Farm and started more organic practices, a bigger variety of foods, and the goats. We started out with one, and as children, as infants, up, you know, real young, they had a condition called reactive airway. Wherever the weather would change or whatever environmental stressor would cause them to have to be on a breathing machine, where, you know, medicine is going in to clear their lungs. And since we've moved here, we haven't had any incidents of that at all. With the raw whole milk, natural foods, just the way we live. We have not made any trips to the doctor or the hospital at all in 5 years. So
Thank you.
that's a good connection.
That is a good connection. So tell me about this part of your farm.
This is what I call the taste part of the Taste and See Tour. I like to grow herbs. That's cilantro. It's a great herb for winter. I can smell it.
Oh yeah, it's got a fabulous smell and taste.
Now my husband enjoys doing medicinal herbs, so this is horehound. He likes to do that for winter when you get, you know, the seasonal changes and it, you know, gets you kind of respiratory. He does the natural horehound tea. And then because I make cheese out of the milk, one of the favorites is garlic chives. Awesome, awesome with goat cheese. Then I have parsley and regular garlic. I have thyme. I have a lot of moms that ask me about things that make good tea, and the kids especially. This is
I'm saving this for later.
that's lemon verbena. Just smell.
Oh, wow.
Okay, one of the favorites that they like to taste. I'm not going to tell you what it is until you try it.
Okay.
You trust me, don't you?
Yeah. Sugar.
Stevia.
Stevia.
Okay, that's the natural sugar. Does not affect your blood sugar. And a lot of people that are diabetic, especially like stevia, because it doesn't affect your blood sugar. No glycemic index. And
Wow.
I grow the plant. This is it. And you can buy it powdered. You can buy it in an extract, but I grow my own. I plant roses over there because they bring beneficial insects, because we don't spray. And you can see, if you look close, you know, there are, well, I can't see right now, but you know, there's enough for us and the bugs. You're welcome to taste it if you want.
It's gonna burn me up.
That shouldn't be too hot. I won't give you a habanero to bite.
Very cool.
Now that's a raw green.
Oh God, it is hot.
Spit it out. Spit it
No,
out.
I can hang with it. I can hang with it.
That's interested in that. You're getting a jolt.
Just try one
Branch,
now.
could you go get him a
My
glass
eyes are
of water?
closing up.
Go get him a glass of water. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
We're actually in the kitchen of Fig Restaurant in downtown Charleston. We're talking with Mike Latta, who is the chef here and also the head knocker in charge. And Mike gets a lot of his groceries from farms right here in the local area. And what is the reaction of your customers to cooking with this kind of food?
The appeal may be the fact that the products we use are just better and fresher, and I think I know it comes through on the plate. So I think that, you know, any success that we've seen at this restaurant is by and large due to the fact that the ingredients we've used are superior.
What about the health effects of eating fresher food from local farms?
I think in some ways, you know, you can, and I'm sure I'm not the first to make this comparison, the big spinach scare from, you know, the last couple of weeks wouldn't exist if people were buying locally. These things happen because of the way the industry has to mass produce and mass farm and fertilize and package and handle these things at such a grand level that I believe it has to become unsanitary at times. But when you buy locally, not only is the nutritional value, I think, greater because it's fresher off the ground, and I know for a fact if you take a head of lettuce from California or a head of broccoli from California, grown conventionally, and a conventionally grown head of broccoli or cauliflower from Charleston, or where you live, and you consume the one that's traveled less and is fresher off the ground is going to be more nutritional. So you have that. You have,
So vegetables actually lose nutrition as time goes by.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, they deteriorate as they after they're harvested. So that, and I think that practices like Celeste's, they are sustainable practices. They're the way it's supposed to be. The chickens are in the sun and they eat the cover crop, and then they're dragged to the next spot on the farm where they consume the cover crop, then fertilize that area, and then next season Celeste will till up that ground and grow it. It's been revitalized. The nutrients are alive and vibrant, and therefore produce much healthier, much more flavorful food.
We're at Fig Restaurant in downtown Charleston. We're talking with Emil DeFelice, who is the former head of the Carolina Farm Stewardship Association. He's a hog farmer himself. He's a family farmer, and he's talking with us about organic farming, natural farming, chemical-free farming. What's the value, Emil?
Well, a lot of what you just described, I would describe as old-fashioned farming. And there's a lot that we have now that we ought to be thankful for as far as our food system, but we've thrown the baby out with the bathwater to some degree. And what I'm promoting is return to some of what we've lost. And when you say organic, when you say chemical-free and all that type of thing, natural farming, we're talking about good, wholesome food from good, wholesome farms, and giving back a little bit of what we've let go down the river. Local food is fresher food by definition. Most of our food today travels 1,500 miles, if not more. When you're buying food that comes in from far away, you're using petroleum to move it around. That petroleum, of course, goes in the air and in the water, and you have effects on health overall on our society.
Tell us about your connection to Fig.
Well, the connection goes back quite a while. Fig stands for food is good, and my pork is great. So we're a natural match. I produce old-fashioned pork, which we rotate through pasture and forest, and we actually go for more fat. We're not a lean white meat. We're a marbled red meat. And Chef Mike Latta inside appreciates great food, and he's willing to go to the effort to find it. You can't make one call and have one truck come over here and that delivers your silverware and your food and expect to get the highest quality food. Chef Mike knows how to do that. He's willing to put the work into providing great food for his customers.
Tell us where your farm is and how long you've been farming and how many kids you got and what kind of food you like to feed your kids.
Right. Well, I've been farming for 12 years. And my oldest son is 10. I started a little ahead of his birth because I wanted to provide healthy food for my future children. I started growing produce and herbs in Lexington County, and I moved over to livestock about halfway through my career. Since July 4th, we did a funny thing. We declared food independence. So at our house, we've only been eating food from South Carolina. And we haven't lost a pound. And I've learned a lot, actually. We've got our drinks, we've got our starches, various grits and rice, and even pasta. And of course, a full line of meats and vegetables, all from South Carolina. It's been a great experience.
We're here in Walterboro with Annie and Mark Fillion. We're at Keegan Fillion Farms and also Annie's Organic Market, which is a 14 by 24 foot shed where they market their products of their farm and other organically produced foods.
And that's Sir. And that other one over there is Tea and Hamburger and York and Phil. That's T-bone, sirloin, hamburger, filet mignon, and New York strip.
What's the appeal for you in doing organic practices, natural production of your crops, your chickens, your cows?
The main thing is we wanted to do something that would help folks, and like Mark was saying, it happened because of some of our friends and some of their young daughters that were having difficulties and starting early cycles and things of that nature, which the pediatricians in Charleston attributed to the antibiotics and hormones, mostly the hormones that are in all meat products these days that are raised conventionally. And we just wanted to do something to help people, especially here locally in Walterboro, where people wouldn't have to travel so far, to get their organics.
I have to eat what I grow. I want it clean. I can't trust what's in the store anymore for the antibiotics and the hormones that they put in. It also came out that they've got arsenic now in chickens, in the chicken feed. The arsenic makes the chicken eat more, which makes them grow faster. I don't want to eat that. So now I can eat what I call a clean food, and my customers can eat a clean food. Also, as a farmer, I can't compete with these big guys. It gives me a market that I can compete in. I can get an honest price for my product. I can give the customer a good product. So that's what kind of led me to the organic.
Not only is it good for other people, but it's good for us too, and it's good for the land and good for the future. So that's kind of what drives us to do what we're trying to do here. Well, the mindset that most people have today is that they think that the foods that they're eating are the same foods that their grandparents fed them. And basically there's nothing further from the truth. There are so many things today that have changed. In your grandfather's day, he used things that they use now for organic, like cottonseed meal, soybean meal, potash, and things of that nature. Nowadays they use chemical fertilizers. They use chemical pesticides, herbicides. You know, in the olden days they didn't use herbicides, they used a hoe. And a lot of organic people use hoes. They don't use herbicides.
What's the effect of these chemicals?
Well,
what do they do?
Depending on, you know, what it is and, you know, how much of it you consume, and the source of information that you use, because there's a lot of different schools of thought out there. You know, a lot of people say that they're harmful to you, you know, over the years. We know there's a rise in obesity, there's a rise in cancers. If you look at our grandparents' era, you very rarely ever heard of somebody having cancer. And, you know, if once in the blue moon they did, you knew, you know, that person was probably going to die. Now it's rampant. You can't hardly talk to a single person, you know, that either they don't know somebody who has cancer or somebody in their family has cancer. So there has to be a reasoning. There has, you know, got to be things that have changed. Things have changed in the environment, you know, industrial-wise. What you breathe, what you drink, what you eat, all that plays a big part in it. Some people choose to think it doesn't make any difference. You know, some people have done their reading and they think it does make a difference. So you kind of have to look at the facts and make your own decisions, is what I tell people.
Is there a difference in the quality of taste?
Yeah, in some items you can taste them more than others. Broccoli, you can really taste the difference. Sweet potatoes, I hated conventionally grown sweet potatoes. I love a sweet potato that's grown organically. Carrots seem to be a lot sweeter.
Sweeter, richer.
And when you get to the meats, the chicken, it tastes like chicken did back in the 40s and 50s, not like the processed stuff you have today. We figure it's because of the grass that they eat and the bugs. It's more natural. It's the way that they were intended to be raised. And the meat is yellower, it's juicier. It gives a better product.
We, in the organic or sustainable agriculture movement, try to do things all natural. We try to have animals in their natural habitat doing the things that they love to do. Grazing outdoors, free-range chickens that get fresh grass and fresh bugs to eat every day. As far as pastured pork, same thing. They have grasses that they eat all day and they're in a natural environment. No additional antibiotics or hormones. It's better for the people, it's better for the environment. It's most definitely better for the animals.
Clemson University was kind enough to train me to help farmers with the certification process as far as organic certification goes, so that I can help guide them and teach them what they're going to need to do to be ready to contact a certifying body and start the organic certification process.
Why is organic farming important?
Well, for the farmer it's important because the farmer can get more money for their crops. You know, it helps bring more money onto the farm, and that's important, and keeping the small farm as a viable enterprise for this day and age. It's also important, it reduces the amount of chemicals that are in the environment. So that's extremely important, reduces pollution and waste. And it also nurtures the land. With organic farming, you have to improve the soil, and it's basically a whole farm concept where you're basically working with the land instead of against it.
So chemicals are actually pollutants?
Some chemicals are pollutants. You know, they can leach into groundwater and contaminate rivers, streams, wells.
So farmers who are not organic are actually polluting the earth?
It depends, you know. If they're using chemicals properly, you know, the pollution is reduced. But, you know, chemicals are contaminants. And, you know, you get them in the environment, and especially if they're not used correctly, they can cause pollution problems.
I have had people tell us that they've had arthritis real bad and switched over to organic food and their arthritis went away. We've had several customers say that.
You think Bush's daddy would eat organic broccoli?
I don't want to feed Bush's daddy.
Farmers need the support. We do not have the adequate markets that we need, but the amount of time, energy, and money that we put into it, we need to help. They need to help us. We're trying to sell to the grocery stores. We're trying to sell to all of the local markets, and there aren't any other fresh vegetables like the local vegetables. We sell both chemical-free and conventional vegetables. We grow about 50 acres over on Johns Island.
When you get your stuff to market, how long has it been in the carton that you bring it in?
We pick the day before and start preparing stuff so that it would be very fresh for the next morning market.
Amanda and Robert Manning work in a number of different businesses and enterprises here in the Lowcountry to talk to people about what a rich environment we have here for eating and cooking and dealing with local farmers, natural farmers, people who are dealing with the kinds of issues we've been talking about on this show. One of the things that they do is they publish a magazine called Edible Lowcountry. And Amanda, you just happen to have a copy of that magazine right there, okay.
It's a way to highlight and support local businesses, local farmers, producers, artisan bread makers, fishermen, and to really educate people and motivate people about buying local foods.
And why is that valuable?
For your health, it's a lot better. Today, the average food travels about 1,500 miles from farm to plate. And if you go down to the Charleston Farmers Market or Mount Pleasant Farmers Market or any of the local roadside stands and you get produce from them, it's probably been picked that very day or maybe the day before. So the nutrients are better, they are more available to you, to your body to process, and so you get a lot more value for your dollar.
And they taste much better. The best food that you can eat was picked this morning and consumed today.
There are a number of diseases that are rampant in our country today that were not at this level 30, 40 years ago. Is there a relationship between what we eat and how sick we are?
Oh my goodness, yes. And today, the thing that disturbs us so much is the childhood obesity issue, because kids grow up today never having had a fresh peach or an apple that's picked in its season. We're so used to processed foods, really high fat foods, foods with a lot of sodium. But when you eat fresh local foods, you get the flavor, you get the taste, and you get the nutritional value. So what we want to do is bring people back to eating local food, bring families and friends back to the table, and reintroduce all of us and our young children to eating really good foods.
At Kennedy's Market on the corner of Alexander Street and Calhoun in downtown Charleston, we're talking with Marty Chitwood, who is a nutritionist, a clinical nutritionist.
A universal problem that I see without a doubt is that there's not enough freshness in the diet. Families are on the go. Oftentimes, half or more of the meals are being eaten in a hurry, and there aren't many vegetables at all, let alone fruits, being consumed on a regular basis.
If people in that situation, people you've worked with, if they start eating fresh fruits and vegetables, then what happens?
They start feeling better.
How amazing.
Mm-hmm. And oftentimes, just changing the diet can make a big difference in the health condition.
At the Ion Market in Mount Pleasant, we're here with Mavish McIntosh, who is part of the slow food movement. Now, Mavish, tell us what that is.
Sure thing. The slow food movement started in the late 80s in a historical district in Rome, Italy. In opposition to a McDonald's that was opening up there, the neighborhood and the community came together and said, no, we don't want this because we have such a great food tradition. Therefore, the neighbors banded together, and Carlo Petrini helped to start the slow food movement in Italy. It is now an international movement really promoting sustainability and buying locally, organically, and seasonally when possible. We are having a lot more health problems these days. Obesity is one of the huge problems in our country, and to me personally, I believe that if you are what you eat, you need to know what you're eating, and most of the times as a society and as individuals, we don't know what we're eating. Even if we go to a restaurant today, we may ask if the seafood is local, and sometimes we may not get the truth. However, I think that those chemicals and those pesticides and hormones are affecting our long-term health. We're seeing a lot more incidents of cancer, we're seeing a lot more health-related diseases, and that's simply because we are not taking the time to think about what we're eating and where it's coming from.
Do you see signs of hope? Do you see people changing in this attitude?
Absolutely. I think the first hope that we see for South Carolina would be Emil DeFelice, who's running for Commissioner of Agriculture. He is really trying to emphasize the importance of South Carolina agriculture. Less than 5% of what we consume in South Carolina is actually grown here. So if we really want to support our farmers and support their efforts in bringing fresh produce to us each day, then we need to start spending our dollars with them and not with the larger corporate businesses that are actually stripping these farmers of their farms.
This is Lily, and she's getting ready to give birth, hopefully to a healthy heifer calf. And she's going to be the start of our new enterprise. We have 5 cows all getting ready to freshen in the next month or so, and we should be the first inspected and licensed raw milk dealers in Charleston County. And our milk will come from our Jersey cows, who will eat only grass and hay, no grains, no byproducts, just grass, what they were made to eat from good soil, so our milk will be healthy for us as well as a better life for the cow. In this day and age, cows eat all kinds of things that they shouldn't eat, but we're working to have our own dairy where we don't have to worry about where does our milk come from. It's going to be made from grass by the world's best grass transformers.